let's see if what I've got, all right, fits some of you, all right? And the best part of this is I know you've been paying attention, and it's the best time to be trading. Why? Because, look, we've taken over. Okay, traders in the short run hijack the market. What does that mean? We're seeing moves in different areas of the market. Commodities is a great example. All right, we got oil moving 54% in 3 weeks. We had the S&P down 13% and then back up 13%. Right, all that's happened the first quarter. Now, what did it mean to you if you were a mutual fund holder? Well, a lot of sweaty palms, right? Because we've taken that roller coaster ride. We ended up at par. And then we add that to last year's 12 months of par, right? We got 15 months worth of zero return, really. And if you did any cash outs in your IRA, all right, or if there was any of those internal buys and sells, you also had a capital gain to go with it. So I know you're frustrated if you're an investor, but if you're here to do some trading, you're in the right place. That's all there is to it, all right? When oil's trading like a penny stock, you got opportunity. I'm at the Market Traders Institute. I know where you are. I'm in Orlando. 70,000 square feet here of training and trading facility. You know what we do? We train people to trade the markets. We've been doing it for 21 years. We got 30,000 students worldwide from our program. We're the biggest, and we got the longest track record. And yes, I'm going to brag about us for a minute because we get press, and that's always fun to see. Inc. magazine, last issue, what did they say? We're one of the fastest growing companies of any kind in the world. Now, how'd we get there? Results. All right, people come to us, they say, I want to be a market trader, I want to be successful at this, okay? Long story short, when they have success, they're excited, they tell people, right? When they have success, they're excited, their friends notice. What do they say? Hey, check out these guys and see if they can help you too. And that's how we grow, all right? It's just a simple equation, and as long as we're delivering results, right, that's really what's important. Now, who am I? Reed gave me that nice intro. Just give me a minute to let you know. Because I think if you're going to take an hour, right, another hour in the Investor Inspiration slate, right, if you're going to take another hour out, you want to make sure you're listening to a qualified source. So who am I? I'm Joe Cavallaro, trading markets since I graduated college, 1994. My first trade was 100 shares of Netscape, did it from the 48th floor of the World Trade Center. All right, since then, I've gotten licensed in all the markets. I've traded them all, stock options, commodities, futures, Forex. I've traded $1 million accounts for different firms. I've run a couple of trading desks, all right, anywhere from 4 to 40 people. And the fact is, what was my job? To see that everybody on that desk was profitable. That was literally my job. So if that's something you're interested in being, okay, I'm actually pretty good at getting you there. So just give me a shot at doing it, all right? We'll go about an hour together, and I'm going to give you some assets to take with you, okay? You're going to understand quickly, and I know what you're looking for. Okay, you're looking for some assets to take with you. Sometimes they're sophisticated, like you just saw a minute ago. Fantastic, that software. Okay, other times you want a little bit in terms of simplicity. Joe, give me an idea, protect my downside, show me a return. I'm happy. Okay, so let me see if I can give you a few assets to take away from this in an hour, and I'll also show you how to get on this team by the time we're done. Okay, really neat opportunity today. A couple things you can react to and respond to. I just believe in moving forward, making it a nice full hour, okay? You know the difference between what amounts to fluff and substance, sizzle and steak, all right? Fact of the matter is, I don't need to convince you of anything today, all right? Let me convey information. You make a decision on what's right for you. But I got you in mind. I got the market in mind. You're paying attention to what's going on. You don't want to be fooled, okay? You understand, write this down, that earnings season's the best time to do trading. Why? It's because that's when their stocks are the most sensitive. Okay, stocks are the most sensitive around earnings season. Just prior to it, there's all the speculation. What's going to happen with the report? Okay, when the earnings report comes out, what do we know? Well, that is the report card. No more guessing. Now we can see it. All right, there's a crystal ball that I need you to have on your desk as a resource. I'm going to show it to you right now. Give me a second because I want to bring it up on my screen. Okay, give me a second. You need to have resources that are readily available, okay? Now, when I say I have a crystal ball, some of you are going to think this is a little bit elementary, but you know what? Trading's pretty simple, right? It's a kind of a buy low, sell high type of exercise, and the fact of the matter is, I like to keep things simple because the more difficult I make it, usually the worse my results. All right, hold on for a second. I'm going to bring this crystal ball up for you. See this? This list right here. Let me know if you can see that. Can you see that? Let me just make sure. Waiting for next screen. I'm dying for you to see it. There it is. All right, what is that? NASDAQ earnings calendar. What does it tell me? All right, what companies are reporting their earnings and when? More often than not, it'll tell me the time of day. So if the first thing I say as a trader is, I need to know what's moving, I need to know when it's going to move, this tells me what and when. Now, I know that might sound a little bit simplistic, all right, but if I'm targeting Nike, because the last 1, 2, 3, 4 times in a row I traded Nike, all right, it was a winner. And I traded it in January, I traded in April, traded in July, traded in October. January, April, July, October. What is that? That is earnings season, okay? I'm going to trade it when it's on the move. Now, the last time I traded it in January, I got the benefit of a 2-for-1 stock split and a nice report. Time before that, I got the benefit of outstanding numbers, okay? Time before that, same thing, outstanding numbers. This time, how did I trade it? Well, I wasn't sure which way it was going, so I went ahead and did a spread trade. I knew I was going to get movement, just didn't know which way. Well, I knew the day and I knew the time. When they reported, got a 4-point move, okay? So if I know what's going to move and when, that's half the battle. I don't have to sift through 6,000 stocks and guess. I know what's going to move and when. All right. So I know that sounds a little bit simplistic, but if you don't have this as an asset, get it. All right. What's moving and when? And when you can understand that, your job as a trader is to collect those. Well, I used to call them teenies because that's how I learned how to trade. And sticks, right? A teeny, 16th, stick, dollar. Okay. If I'm looking for something that's going to move $2, $3, $4, that list is a real good place to start. Okay, now Amazon, what was going on? Right, we know Amazon is a super sensitive stock, especially around earnings season. What was the expectation back in January? Blowout report. Why? Because everybody thought that because that Amazon dominated Christmas, right? You got the Prime account, $99. I got the Prime account. I like the 2-day shipping. I like the deals. Okay, so we were all kind of under the Amazon spell. A lot of analysts were too. What happened just prior to the earnings report? Okay, the stock ran from 600 up to 640. What were they expecting? Well, you don't buy something unless you think it's going up. So what were they expecting? 700, 800, 1,000? Possibly. That's why they bought it. But here's what happened. All right, even though the analysts were expecting, look at that, happiness and so forth, right, good news, when the report did come out, okay, anybody that owned that stock was left kind of holding the bag. They got to read the headlines the next day, plunging, right, battered, all those fun words that we like the most. Okay, what ended up happening here? The stock went to 640 before the report. After the report, it got murdered. Okay, down 68, down 164. Then all the pundits who we look to for information, they come out and they say, well, here's what went wrong. And they give us an economic report on Amazon. Okay, here's what you need to know. Here's what went wrong. Stock went down. Right? You don't need to know about customer value. You don't need to know about Amazon's growth potential. You don't need to know about all the ins and outs of Amazon, right? What you need to know is, did you make money with it or not? Because that's why you bought it in the first place. And here's the point that I'm going to make on this. Okay, let me save you $12,000 right now over the next 3 years. Are you ready for this? Okay, here's what I know when it comes to your serious money. Because I know when you're trading a portion of your money, but you certainly have other funds, okay, in your IRA, in your 401k, and so forth, okay? That's where your serious money is, all right? And I know that you had a conversation with a broker that sounded an awful lot like this. Let's make sure that you are in a diversified basket of stuff. We'll go ahead and put some conservative here, some aggressive there, bonds over this way, value here, growth over there, right? You heard all that. And what they tell you, some years will be good, some years will be lousy, but if you'll average about an 8% return over time. You heard that. Okay. Here's what you need to know. Your return over time, if you're doing this with the big houses, right, the Merrill Lynch's, Bank of America's, Wells, whoever your broker is, okay, I'm here to tell you that their managed stuff costs, just in terms of fees, 600% more than if you did it yourself. And the returns on it typically are 1.5 lower. Right? That every study you need to know, Brown University, whoever you want to go to, will bear that out. The people at Vanguard will bear that out. The performance is worse and you pay 6 times as much for it. So here's what you need to do. And if this is the only thing you take away from my talk with you today, it's going to be worth it. Okay? Here's what you need to do. Take control of this because you can do this yourself. You know how hard it is to buy a diversified basket of stuff? You can do it with 2 clicks of the mouse. You go to your online brokerage account, and you get yourself what's called the SPY. Write it down. SPY or SPDR, the spider, the S&P 500. It's an ETF. Okay, as diversified as you want to get, 500 stocks, and it's self-managing. Okay, there's 500 stocks in it. Well, when one gets too big, one gets too small, they just kind of swap them out. It happens automatically, all right? It's a self-managing situation. You don't have anybody there buying and selling like you do with some of these other managed products, right, that are just basically a churning machine, right, a commission churning, a capital gain churning machine, all right? This is self-managing. And it gives you almost the identical diversification that you'd get in the other stuff. But you get it for 6 times less in terms of cost, and you get 1.5 points better in terms of return. What does that mean? You got $100,000 over the next 3 years. That little piece of advice, that little change, that one change, going from the mutual funds to this ETF, okay, would save you $4,000 a year. 3 years, that's 12 grand. Okay, then you do time value of money. All right, over time, that might have been a $50,000 piece of advice. But what's the advice I'm giving you? Do it yourself. You can do it better. Okay, I've been doing this a long time. Know every story in the book. All right, I've told some of those stories. It is what it is. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, you can do this. You can do it with a click of the mouse. And I like the idea of having an ETF. You know why? Because when things get a little dicey, right, and you're just thinking, I want to sit this one out for a minute. Okay, you can just go to your online brokerage account, click the mouse, you're out of the market a couple seconds. Okay, you want to sit on the sidelines for a minute? You want to be in cash? Cash is a position. That's okay, right? You can do it in an online brokerage account with a couple clicks. You don't have to call anybody. Okay, you don't have to ask them. You don't have to have your arm twisted about staying in the position if you just don't want to. Okay, that piece of advice worth 12 grand. So I gave you a crystal ball and $12,000, and we've been at this for 5 minutes. Can I keep going? Because I want to. Because I want you to be on the right side of situations like Amazon. Okay, and if you don't have a lot of time for analytics, okay, if you don't have a lot of time but you still want opportunity, what you need to do is let somebody do the heavy lifting for you, okay, put you in the right spot so you can make some money, right, and then you're playing with a little bit of house's money. You're doing it in a relaxed way. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, look, when Amazon was tumbling 164 points, yeah, there was some people that were losing money, but here's a guy here that sent a note to a trader that he was working with, right, who said, look, same 9 days, appreciate it. I did a killer trade on Amazon. I was positioned properly. Okay, I closed my option trade on it, made myself 5 grand. So while there's some people that are taking a bath, other people are trading a little bit differently. Okay, they're finding the right stock and direction, and the bottom line is they're on the right side of things. Okay, now they have to send that thank you note because, well, they're sharing the burden, right, with somebody doing a little heavy lifting. In this case, his name's Chris Irvin. Go ahead and write down the name because I'm going to introduce him in just a minute. All right. But the bottom line is, when you get into a relationship like that, where you're going to continue to develop your skill as you go, but it's not going to be so time intensive. You're actually going to learn more by being in trades than you are by studying charts and so forth or reading the books. You understand, I have all the trading books that there are. I got my Douglas, I got my Random Walk, all right, I got a bunch of that free stuff you can get on the internet, and it's fine, okay? But you're going to learn more about trading by being in. By being in a trade, you're going to be sharp. You're going to be in the right environment. By being in a trade, that's the only way you can make money. Well, it's the only way I can lose it too. I guess that's true, but if you're trading properly, you got your stop set, there's no sweaty palms. You're learning as you go. And if you can get this to the point where it's just a numbers game for you, man, it can be a whole lot of fun. All right, I've been making my living doing this for 20-something years. I've traded every market. All right, lumber, sugar, coffee, Forex, option stock, you name it. And the fact of the matter is, it's a riot. It can get you where you want to go. Okay, people are like, where's the big pile of money? Well, it's right here. All right, now let's rake a couple of those leaves over into your pile. Let's do like this. All right, somebody who is no different than you came to one of my webinars, heard about Chris, right? Got aligned with his style of trading and his team, and this is just his trade run. He sent us a copy of it for the last couple of months. All right, what's he trading? The stuff that you'd be wanting to trade anyway, right? He's trading Tesla, he's trading Gilead, he's trading Bank of America, Facebook, okay? He's trading the spiders, he's trading Netflix, Weight Watchers. But the fact of the matter is he's doing it, in a way that makes sense. He's doing it leverage, he's doing it with options. Doesn't have a whole lot of money on the table, but look at his result. He's got 87 grand over the last 2 months, and he's doing it in a way that he says is safe because he's following the right method. All right, so if I can get you there, after a long day of investor inspiration. If I can get you to the point where, right, you're not going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting and analysis, the fact is you'll learn what you need to, and you're getting those kind of results and it's a safe situation, I got to believe that's worth listening to. Because, yeah, I know that LinkedIn was an opportunity just before their earnings report. I know that there was a lot of sensitivity around the stock ahead of time. Some people took a bath. The stock dropped 100 points, okay? Other people positioned properly. It didn't matter which way it went because they were already positioned properly ahead of time. In this case, it went down, and in this case, the account value went up. Look what Greg says. I made 72% overnight, and it was a safe trade. That's my kind of note. All right, that's the kind of note I want you to be sending our group after you do a couple of trades with us. Write this down. You are two trades away from your breakthrough. If you're brand new, okay, and you put a little of your own money into a trading account. I'm going to show you today how with $1,000 you can make a whole lot of noise. So don't think you're going to cash in your IRA and put it all into a trading situation. You're not. That doesn't make sense. But I'll show you how with $1,000 you can make some noise, okay? And the fact is, you're two trades away from what? Playing with the house's money. When you get there, then you think a little bit differently about things, okay? When you do two trades that covers your initial investment, that helps pass the spouse test. What do I mean by that? Your spouse is going to be looking at you funny when it comes to doing this exercise. I know it. You're looking at them saying, I'm going to trade some options. Okay? And the quizzical look will come from them when they ask you, whose money are you trading? And when you say, well, I'm trading the house's money, they will at that point go on and do whatever they were doing and support you in this endeavor. Okay, so I got to get you to that point too. I get it. I know what's going on. All right, if you've been struggling, you're two trades away from putting some of that struggle behind you. Two trades. Okay, so if I can get you two, I got a breakthrough for you. And then some of you have been making a living at this, and good for you. All right, but you plateaued and you're looking for the next level. All right, instead of trading 2 contracts or 5, you want to be trading 10s. You want to be trading, 20s. Great. If I can get you to the point where you can trade size, you're 2 trades away. So stick with me. Maybe I got 2 trades for you today. Okay, and if that's the case, again, it's worth every minute of your time to stick with me. I want you to be doing the LinkedIn trade, the Amazon trade. Who are you going to do it with? Let me introduce Chris Irvin. Who is that? Okay, 15-year options trader. You've probably at least heard of him because he does a lot of the articles and a lot of the interviews. All right, he's been on Fox Business, been on Invest, INO. Okay, Trade King named him an all-star. Now, how do you get that designation? You know how to make money. That's pretty simple, right? And he did. He wrote a lot of the articles, okay? And he did a lot of the interviews. He would get a lot of fan mail. Now, listen, this is just the story, okay? The story is that he would get a lot of fan mail and a lot of appreciation for his strategies, a lot of appreciation for his insights, okay? But what people would ask him after telling him how much they appreciated it was if they could do something with him, direct and live and hands-on. And that's why he created this team, all right? Ultimate Stock and Options team here at the Market Traders Institute. What's the objective here? To do stuff together and do it live, all right? And he counts on me today to get you started. I'm going to put some tools on your desk, all right? Some software tools, the ones that we use. I'm going to put some teaching elements on your desk, basically to get you speaking our language, so we're all talking the same way, all right? And then I'm going to open the door for you to hang out with a team of traders. Nothing like it, all right? When I first started, I was at the American Stock Exchange. What did I do in the morning? Brought my coffee in, met with the team. Now, that sounds glamorous until you know that my first job was not a trader's job. I was a clerk, okay? I would bring the trader's coffee, okay, and pick up the dry cleaning. I would go run to the airport in case one of their parents was coming to town, right? I'd punch all their tickets on the little clock in the corner. We used paper tickets. But here's what you need to know. While I was with them, I was learning their language, okay? While I was with them, I was seeing their tools. And eventually what they told me was, get over here, let us show you how to make some money, okay? So I got to get you in the right environment. And once you are, you'll be prepared so that when stuff comes, you'll just be ready to take advantage of it. All right, let's do this. We'll do 60 minutes. We'll talk about options. I'll ask you for feedback once in a while. We'll learn to talk the same language. I told you I'd put some tools on your desk. I'm going to get you prepared to trade with this team. It's not going to be a heavy, intensive situation. Okay, if you're a super tech person, I love it. Okay, I know the enthusiasm that goes with that. If you like to pore over the Wall Street Journal online, great. Okay, but there's some of you that are saying, give me what I need to know and let me get started. All right, keep it kind of simple. Maybe do a little of the heavy lifting. That's what I'm going to do. All right, but know this. Everything that I show you today, because I'll give you some things you can react to. All right, respond to. You'll be able to take advantage of them risk-free to you financially. All right, keys to success. You got to pick the right market. There's a lot of them to choose from. We're going to talk options. Why? Because they give you a lot of advantages. All right, you can make money in all the markets. I heard about binaries, kind of expensive. How about futures? A little bit volatile, doesn't always honor your stops. Why am I trading options? Because you get advantages in doing it. Okay, I know you can make money in all the markets, but we're going to talk options for a reason. And I'm going to introduce you to a team that you can trade with. You know why? Because there's plenty of free stuff on the internet. There's plenty of books and tapes. You can go down to Barnes & Noble, pick up Day Trading for Dummies. You can watch Susie Orman on TV. But all that can do is tell you stuff. Doing stuff live is something different. All right? Doing stuff live is totally different. You got to have the right people that you work with and that work with you. That's going to be the difference. Because if it was all science, everybody would be making money. Right? If it was all about red light, green light software, plenty of that, everybody would be making money. The chart's the same for everybody. Okay? Results are different because of the people you work with. I just want you to know that that's going to be the catalyst. Okay? Everything revolves around ideas and action. It's easy to have an idea. You have one right now. You personally have an idea about the market. You think it's either going up or down, and you think different things are in play. Okay? Maybe oil's in play. Maybe natural gas is in play. Maybe Amazon's in play. You have a couple of ideas, but you haven't turned a lot of them into action because you have this innate fear of what? Maybe making an error, maybe losing a couple of dollars. I get it. Okay? But if I can get you to the point where you're comfortable taking action, where you don't have to be right every time, where you might have to be right one time out of 4 to make money, okay? And maybe be right half the time you make serious money. Then I'm going to be doing you a service, okay? Let me get you through that, and you'll have this. This is much more a mindset than it is tech, but you know what? That's really where the rubber meets the road, as far as I'm concerned. We'll talk results. Knowledge doesn't necessarily translate, okay? I know a lot of statisticians. I know a lot of PhDs don't know how to make a dime. But I know some guys that are from the street, right? Guys from Brooklyn. Guys, I remember when I first walked into the Amex, there were guys that are 24, 25 years old. What could they really know about anything, okay? And that they could barely put 2 sentences together making $10,000 a day. I remember seeing that, and it planted some seeds with me, okay? What the seed is, you don't have to know everything in order to really do well. You just have to concentrate on the bottom line. Let's do that. Results are the name of the game. You get a couple of them. Two trades, I'm telling you, going to make the difference in your life. You can do this. All right? Let me put it all on the table for you, and the last thing you need is just a little bit of commitment. Well, I'm committed. Well, you're committed enough to be here. And if you're listening to me, you're committed enough to have gone through 7 presentations before me. I give you credit, okay? But that commitment, that reason for you to be here, all right, that got you here. But you didn't come this far to only come this far. Now what do you need to see to keep going? You need some results. I'm telling you right now, results are going to be a real big help to your commitment. Now where do you get those? Like I said, how about you get them from the team you're working with? Because if you go into work, okay, and you're on a team, you make $1,000 on a Monday, I got to believe you're showing up again on Tuesday. Okay? You might even be early. This is how my desk worked. Okay? The team was there. You're committed. You keep showing up. Let's get you some results. Okay? That'll keep you showing up. And now we work together. You learn as you go. You trade as you go. Okay? You don't have to know everything. Hey, Chris, here's the note. You'll send this. Maybe the end of the week next week. Okay? Maybe you'll have something that you traded this week where you're going to send a note that says, hey, Chris, the trade we did worked out great. Right? We did it in an electronic environment. We didn't have to meet anywhere, but we worked together. Right? Put on the trade, like you said, 390 call and put. You might say, what's that? Right? I don't know. Right? But here's what I do know. You might not know what all the fancy terms are, but you know what $3,800 is. And even if you're new, right, still learning, still applying, if you're new and you're making $3,800, you're going to keep showing up. And that's what I want for you. Okay? That's what I want for you. Why do we trade options? You get leverage. You don't have to bring a lot of money. You can make money in either direction. Write this down. You're going to make money in the downside 3 times faster than the upside. Write that down. That's important. It's a big asset, especially because we have a downward bias in the market right now. Okay? What do you mean we have a downward bias? We're up 13%. Listen, you have a downward bias in the market. Okay? We come up to 17,200. Well, that's a point of resistance from before. Now, see, it's going to be one of two things. It's a double top, and we're going to move down, okay? Or we're going to burst through it. Now, given the housing starts that we had just the other day, given what the Fed action was, given the ECB action from the other day, given the manufacturing number, I got to believe we're at a point of resistance. We're hitting a downward bias. You know what that makes me do? Lick my chops. You know why? Because stocks drop 3 times faster than they go up, which means I can make money on the downside 3 times as quickly. Now, a lot of people, regular people say, oh, you mean you can lose money 3 times as fast? Well, listen, if you're only able to make money in one direction, you buy something, you hope it goes up, guess what? Yep, you're going to lose money 3 times as fast when it falls. But if you're trading, right, you're in cash, now it's time to make a move, you make money on the downside 3 times as quick. I'll give you a trade where I show that to you today. Maybe that'll be one of those 2 that you're looking for, all right? Potential return on investment, you already know it. If you've been through a couple options conversations today, you know it's huge. Now what do we have to do? Get you those and protect your downside. And it's going to be easy to understand. I think you probably already know what calls and puts are. Let me just walk through them again quickly to catch you up if you haven't gotten this part. But I believe in simplicity, okay? If only because I don't want to impress you with all kinds of vocabulary. All I think that does is confuse the issue unnecessarily. Okay, and it kind of puts the focus on me. Oh, look what I know. Listen, I can't do that because this conversation, the more important person is not me, it's you. So I'm going to keep things simple, and it's really because they are. Any of your fancy options combinations, bear call, bull put, iron condor, so forth, it's just a combination of these 2 things. So if you understand what a call and a put is, you're cooking with gas. Okay, what's a call? You get the right to buy something in the future at a certain price. Okay. If Apple's at 100 today, you think it's going up, but you can't afford it today, well, what you can do is get an option to buy it in the future at the same $100. That way, if it goes up to, let's say, 150, you can buy it for 100. There's a profit in there for you. We make money on calls when stocks go up. You know that, okay? Most of you. And the rest of you now know it. And what's a put? It's just the opposite. A put gives you the right to sell something at a certain price in the future. If you think Apple's going down, you don't want to buy it, but you can make money on the downside. In fact, you can make it 3 times as quickly. Let's say you got yourself a put option on Apple, where you could sell Apple for 100 even if it dropped to 75. That's how you profit from stocks moving down. You get yourself a put option. Now you pay for it, okay? You pay a premium for every option that you trade. And if we're talking like business people, we have to talk about expense. Well, what are we paying for? In options, we pay for control and time. Write it down. Control and time. If Apple, again, is trading at 100, you want to make money on it going up. Some of you think Apple's going up. My kids think Apple should be going up. I bet my household is personally responsible for at least $1 worth of that shareholder value. And the sad part is I've got an iPhone 4. My kids have 6s, plus they have iPads, plus they have iPods. Yours probably do too. And now they can't wait because the new one just came out with the 4-inch screen. Okay? I'm like, are you kidding me? I need to upgrade mine. But the fact is, let's say you thought Apple was going up from here. Okay? Get yourself a call option. You can buy Apple between now and the end of April for $100. You pay $4 in this example for the privilege, but should Apple go up to 125 by the end of April, well, you go ahead and exercise your option, and you can buy it for $100. $25 discount. What does that mean? There's a $25 profit in there for you. Now, that's gross. Don't forget, you had an expense. You got to take that out of the equation. Okay? So you netted $21 a share. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay? And you've been listening to me, and I appreciate it. Some of you are taking notes. Some of you are rolling your eyes because it's review. But I want to get inside your head. Pretend you're on my trading desk, right? If my job before was to make sure that I had profitable traders on my desk, how about we do a little exercise together since you're on mine right now? How many of you, looking at this, you don't have to be experts, but you'd risk $4 to make 21 on Apple? If you would, type a yes in the box. I'm going to get a sip of water. Okay, so I mean that's a basic strategy, but you're looking at it saying, yeah, I'd risk 4 to make 21. Good, all right, and that's a lot of you, but it wasn't everybody. Why? Because some of you are thinking of the other thing, of course. You're thinking, well, what if Apple falls, right, to 75? Well, in this case, your option wouldn't be worth much at the end of April, right? Why would you buy something for 100 if you could go anywhere else and get it for 75? So what's going to happen in this case? Of course, your option's going to expire, probably worthless, and you'll end up losing the $4. But here's what you need to remember, okay? You knew what your risk was ahead of time because you bought the contract ahead of time. So you maxed out your risk at what you paid for the option, which means the most you could lose is $4. Well, that gets rid of the sweaty palms. You don't have to be nervous about anything because you adopted the risk ahead of time. But here's the best part. Not only is your risk defined, but it's also limited. Think about the person that owns Apple at 100. Okay? They're here at 75, $25 underwater, sucking wind, right? And now they can't wait to tell everybody what a good company Apple is. Ah, you own some Apple? Yeah, it's a good company. It better be, because it's got to come back 25 points for you to break even. You've got to come back 21 points just to break even with me. Okay, same stock, same time frame, big difference in approach. Okay, when you got an option, it limits your risk. It also defines it ahead of time. That's why we trade it, gang. All right, that's a main reason. Now we trade in contracts. This is where we get our leverage from. All right, every contract controls 100 shares of stock. 2 contracts controls 200. 10 contracts controls 1,000, and so on. And when I'm talking about control, here's what I'm looking at. Okay, I want you to think of this relationship when you trade options the same way almost that you look at your house as a financial asset. Okay, because when you quote bought your house, you didn't buy it outright. Okay, when the realtor said the house goes for $250,000, you didn't write a check for the whole amount. What'd you do? You put down 3%, 5%, maybe 10%. Okay, but then they handed you the keys and said you own the house. Okay, you own a fraction of it, but you control the asset. If it goes up in value, that's when the fun starts. You do a HELOC, you do a refi, take out some cash, right? Or you can sell the house. If it goes up in value to $300,000, you get to keep the whole profit. Same kind of thing here. It's about controlling an asset, using a little bit of money, right, to control a lot. Best way to go through this stuff is always to do trades. Let me just walk you through Netflix. And yes, Netflix is one that I love to trade, especially around their earnings report. Why? Because it's hypersensitive. Still in that growth phase. Still doing those subscriptions. When they get a number the market likes, the thing bounces strong. When they get a number the market doesn't like, the thing gets crushed. Okay? It just is what it is. But just before their earnings report, all right, third quarter last year, I just show this as an example. Stock was trading at 100. Okay? Now, if you're a trader, you're getting started, you got $1,000 in an account. What are your choices? Well, if you're a stock trader, what do? You take your $1,000, you buy as many shares as you can. Okay, get yourself 9 shares of Netflix. If you're an options trader, you think different. You got $1,000, but instead of buying stock, you're going to look for a similarly priced call option. In this case, there's one, premium's $5. Well, that means in your $1,000 account, you can afford 2 contracts. Now you're going to control 200 shares. Just look at the difference. On the left, you got 9. On the right, you got 200. What happens? After the earnings are announced, Netflix goes up. Great. It goes up in the direction that you thought. Okay, what ends up happening? Stock goes from 100 to 110. Now the stock trader cashes out of that position, takes a nice $10 profit. How much did they make? About $90. Okay, 8-9%. Okay, options trader, a little different. They cash out their position, same time frame, same stock, same direction. Everything's the same except the instrument and the result. Because look, when they cash out their position, the stock went from 100 to 110. Their option at the same time went from 5 to 12.25. So when they cash out, they didn't make $90, they make $1,400, okay? They didn't make 8 or 9%, they made 145%. And now the only thing you really need to know looking at this screen, all right, is the big number in the middle is better than 9%. All right, that's the thing I want you to take away from this example, all right? It's the same stock, it's the same direction. Now it's a $100 stock, but look, the options trader can participate in a meaningful way. I'm not saying $90 isn't meaningful, 9% isn't meaningful. It's better than you've done over the last 15 months combined, all right? So there's a little bit of meaning. But when you're trading, you're not going to trade for nickels and dimes. You just don't want to, okay? Meaningful for you is being able to get on the stocks you've been trying to figure out how to buy in the first place, but do it in a way where you can make some dough. This isn't a big cash outlay. $1,400, that's not bad. Do that once a month. That's $10,000 extra for the year. Okay? Extra. Don't quit your day job yet till you learn how to do this. Okay, but if I can give you a couple of those, now you're cooking. All right? Now some of you want to know, well, why did the stock go up 10 and the option only went up 7 or so? Well, that's called delta, right? The percentage of the option moves relative to the stock. It's just a ratio. But I'll teach you this so when you get in the room, right, when you come, you make your cup of coffee, you come into our trading room, you're kind of talking like us. You're going to hear us talk this way. So I want you to be familiar with this so you get that sense of belonging, okay? And that's important. You want to be comfortable. Delta is just a ratio, okay? If Netflix moved 10 and the option moved 7.2, well, that's a delta of 0.72, 72 cents on the dollar, okay? And it's a term we use a lot. What do you want to find? When it comes time to trade in options, you want to find options that move the same time the stock moves. There's that same correlation. If he's making money, I want to be making it too, all right? The closer to 1, the better. Write that down, okay? As we do another trade, like I said, if I walk you through trades, that's always when you're going to learn the most. When you're in a trade, your endorphins, you know, you're on knife's edge when it comes to your emotion. Your eyes are a little bit bigger. You're taking in information better. You're going to learn more from trading right once, twice, than you are from a book. I'm telling you, okay? And if you stay with this and we do it in a way that makes sense, it's going to be enjoyable. Right? There's really nothing like it. It's great. All right, Intel trading at 23 just before earnings. Right? What do? You think it's going up? You buy as much stock as you can. Now the $1,000 trader gets himself 40 shares, right? What does the option trader do? Well, she says, instead of buying the stock, I'm going to look for a similarly priced call option, okay? In this case, there's one trading at 36 cents premium. So I'm going to get out and buy as many of those calls as I can. Now, how many can you get? 25. Again, look at the difference. On the left, you got 40. On the right, you got 2,500. Now, what happened on this trade? Same kind of thing. Went up 9 days in a row after the earnings report. Intel, blowout quarter, fantastic. Okay? Stock trader cashes in. There it is again, $80, 9%. Options trader, how'd they do? Same stock, same direction, same amount of time. But they made 2,500 bucks. Okay? Not 9%, 280%. And I'm showing you these because that's meaningful. All right, and here's the best part. When you understand why we choose options, when I said at the beginning, you got to pick the right market, right? Leverage a big deal, okay? You would have to do, look at this, 30 of these, 30 of them to match one over here. Same amount of capital, okay? You'd have to go 30-0. You'd have to be Kentucky basketball, okay? You'd have to be the New England Patriots over 2 years, 30-0. To match this. Here's another way to look at it. You could have risked half the amount. Listen, 900 over here on 40 shares. You could have risked half the amount. You could have just gotten 12 calls. You'd have made $1,200. That's still 15 times the amount with half of the capital. First time I saw it, I'm like, why wouldn't I do this? All right, I have to do this because the math works in that case. That's the only way I can say half the capital, 15 times the result. That means I could literally do 15 trades, right, for every one that I was going to do on the other side. That's why we trade options, gang. There's meaning in it. Now, a lot of you are saying, okay, where's my 2 trades then? All right, if I'm going to join your team and I need those 2 trades to get me out of the gate, tell me what you're trading. I don't mind doing it because this is all about ideas. This is all about assets, okay? Ideas that you can put into action. All right, what are we trading? Not penny stocks, okay? We're not trading the low price stuff either. You know why? Higher risk, okay? I want you to understand when a stock's in a growth phase, like Facebook is, like LinkedIn was, right? Like Netflix is, Amazon, okay? Those are actually lower risk profile opportunities. A lot of people think they have to go downscale to get stocks that they can, quote, afford. What they end up doing is getting a position that's too big and the risk profile on those stocks is actually higher. So what they do is exponentially increase their risk without even realizing it because they think they're doing something smart. What I'm telling you is, of course, you're seeing money being made on stocks on this screen. Nike, right, up until last week, right? Facebook, Netflix, you know there's money there, okay? So now you're asking, what is it that we're trading? Here's the answer, all right? If you missed oil and gas, it's okay. Okay, 54% run, you missed it. For it to go another 54%, oil have to be at $60 a barrel. So that historic event, when it was at a historically low price, $26, you missed that one. It's okay, because historic events are things that you should be paying attention to. Usually the signs are pretty big, right? When Alan Greenspan was on the horn saying we have a housing bubble, that was a historic event. And it wasn't like we weren't warned about it, right? They talked about that on the news every day. Housing bubble. Yep, they're still talking about it. What do we do about it? That was the idea, right? Who knew how to take the action? Goldman did, right? What did most homeowners do? Take a bath. Internet stocks. We're in the internet bubble. We heard about that one too. What ended up happening? Bubble burst. Who made money? Probably Goldman again. Here's where the new historic event is now. And I'll show it to you. I'm going to bring up a chart. See that? Natural gas. Let me just show you this as an idea, as an asset. Stay with me. See this? Write this down. UGAZ. Natural gas at a 17.5-year low. The whys don't really matter, right? Fracking. We could come up with any of the standard conversation. But here's what I know, okay? We still got to heat homes. We still got to burn or cook food, right? We still got to power the buses in the metro areas. Natural gas is still a commodity, okay? Now, when I see the UGAZ, you know what that is? That's a natural gas ETF. And the thing that kind of piqued my interest on it was, and I'm using my charting software. You'll get this on your desk too. I'll just go ahead and go through this on my software. Let me just show you where this was trading. Hold on. I'll do it on the week chart so you can see it. Give me a second. See this? It was trading at 7,500. Okay, 7,500. That was the peak. Today, well, it's trading at 21. Okay, the low is about 16. How do I know? Because I've been paying attention. Okay, this is a natural gas ETF. 17.5-year low, a historic low for pricing on natural gas. Well, when we had a historic low, right, a 12-year low on oil, what happened? It was an overreaction. At some point, the thing gets oversold, and what happens? Bounces back up. Here we are, 54%, right to the $40 mark, okay, which is the old point of support back from 2001. I only know that because I'm a commodities trader, okay? Well, where are we on this? Worst case, even if we come back a smidge, okay, to, let's say, this level, the most recent high, well, that's a triple of your money, okay? Now, there's been several recent highs, and I'm not saying we're going back to 7,000. If I thought we were going to, you know what I would tell you? Just buy this, turn off your computer, and go do something else, right? You get 10 shares of this, back to 7,500, yeah, I think you'd be good. That'd be about a $200 investment. You make $750,000. Those are ones that we'd all like to have. So I'm not saying we're going back to 7,500. But what I am saying is when you have historic lows, those are things you have to take the opportunity to trade. Okay, I've broken my counter trend line here. I see where my target pricing is here. And if I trade with a stop, guess what, gang? Every idea is a good idea if you protect your downside. Write that down. Every idea is a good idea if you protect your downside. What do I risk? $2. Why? Because that's what everybody's conditioned to risk. You ever play Powerball? $2 ticket, right, on a Wednesday. It's 200 million to 1 odds. They do the drawing. Either you won or lost. What happens to your $2 ticket? You tear it up. You go buy another one, right? You've adopted the fact that you can accept the $2 loss. If you go to the track, you pick a nice horse, right? Mr. Frisky in the 5th, okay? You buy your $2 ticket, what happens? Horses go around the track. It's got a beginning and an end. At the end, what happens? You tear up your ticket, okay? Maybe you bet on the next race. You see, people get into trouble when their trade doesn't have a beginning and an end. Write this down, okay? They get into trouble when they start adding to bad positions, when they start trading without a stop. If your horse lost the race, okay, goes around the track, didn't come in, you tear up your $2 ticket, you look for another horse. You don't go to the paddock and start talking to everybody about what a good horse it is. You don't try to buy the horse, right? You don't try to double down on the horse. It's over. What I'm trying to say is put yourself in a position where you can take advantage of ideas, and it just has to make sense to you. Risk two. Risk $2. Okay, I'll show you another one. Look. I would buy this all day. And my entry price, what do I have this at? Here, I got it right here, 18.19. Okay, I'm at 21. I'm waiting on an entry price of 18 or 19. Why? Because that's a little bit of a test of this bar. You see that? But give me 18 or 19, I'm a buyer. And what's my risk? It'll be $2. Okay? To make what? Triple my money. Risk 2 to triple my money. That's a good trade. Okay? And I don't want to make it sound so simple. Oh, Joe, what are your analysis? What are your analytics? Look, I'll show you some of that. Here, let me show you one on my favorite. Right here on my screen. Guess which one's my favorite? I'll give you a good asset to take with you. Guess which one of those on that screen right now is my favorite? And it's other than the natural gas one. Type in an answer if you think you know it. Big lots. No. Good guess, though, Dennis. Amazon. It's a favorite because we make money straddling that. Staples you would have liked, if only because they were in an M&A situation, but now they have to figure out how to shed all that Office Depot inventory, and the real estate numbers don't look real good. Netflix, only during earnings season. Write it down. January, April, July, and October. 4 times a year, we're going to trade Netflix. Still super sensitive, like Tesla was. You remember that, okay? I want that sensitivity when it comes to trading. I straddle it. Doesn't matter if it goes up or down. I'll show you how to do that before we're done. Exxon, you're not getting it. Although I like Exxon. Why? Because when a company pays a 3.1% dividend, if I make a mistake on my trade, I got 3% worth of downside cushion built in. Who else? I can't believe you're not getting this. It's going to make sense to you when I show it to you. You ready? Right here. Boom. Bed, Bath, and Beyond. There's $25 in that stock. What's it trading at? About 50. Is it going to 75? Nope. But there's $25 in it. Which way? Let me show you. Here, come on. This will be fun. Again, Ultimate Charting Software. Here it is. Bed, Bath, and Beyond. What do I want to look at first? My one-day chart. What do I notice? It's so simple. Keep things simple. Just draw my trend line. Okay? There it is. As defined as it can be. Okay? What do I notice? Every time this comes up to my trend line, right, it falls back down again. Great. What do I see here? Okay, you got that? From a technical standpoint, this is super solid. Here's my breakdown after the earnings report. Okay, then I've got this retracement up to my trend line. The rookie says, oh, it's going up. The veteran says it's coming up to my sell high price. My sell high price. See that? Okay? And there it is. It's come back to my sell high price touching this line. Okay? Now I'm biased downward. Here, look. It's happening. Terrific. Okay? Why am I so excited about Bed Bath & Beyond just from a technical standpoint? Because the setup is phenomenal. All right? And what's my risk going to be here? Well, if I'm in at 49.40, let's just say I enter right here. 49.40. Okay? What's my risk? Well, it's going to be up to the trend line. Okay? 51.04. That looks reasonable, right? Should my candle come back up to my trend line, that would be my exit point. So I'm looking at $1.64 of risk. Come on. Risk 1.64. Okay. Let's find out where the reward is on this thing. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of technical analysis, as simple as we possibly can. You guys know what support and resistance is, right? First thing that's going to happen, it's going to test this fresh low. So at this fresh low, I'm going to call that my first profit target. Whoops, hold on. That's going to be my first profit target right here. Okay, and what is that fresh low? It is the bottom of this candle, 41.26. So that is an $8, let's just call it $8 worth of reward to my first target. Okay? $8 reward to my first target. Okay? Where's my second target? This one's kind of weak. This one I like. Yeah. Okay? So let's say I hit this target from 49 to 29. That's $20 against $1.64 worth of risk. Now, why is it that I'm targeting Bed Bath & Beyond? Number one, I'm in love with the technical, but number two, the ideas sound fundamentally. Why? What do we know about retail? JCPenney's went from 42 down to 6, didn't take very long. Sears went from 93 down to 16, didn't take very long. Falls 3 times faster than it goes up. You remember that. Linens and Things, already out of business. Walmart, closing stores. Okay? Woolworths, goodbye. Radio Shack, bankrupt. Sports Authority, bankrupt. What did Kohl's do? Didn't they announce the same thing? Right? We're talking about the implosion. Remember those historic events I was talking about? Okay? Historic events are what can make you serious money, and you can't be afraid to play them in either direction. Okay? This just is what it is. And if I see $20 in Bed Bath & Beyond, I put 10 puts on that today, okay, that can be a $20,000 position. Remember I told you there's a couple of trades in here for you? The fact of the matter is, that's the kind of conversation I want you to be having every day. Write this down. You need to be having at least 3 $5,000 to $10,000 conversations every single day. Ideas and action. You got to have the ideas. You have to know how to structure them. You're going to be a trader, okay? And you have to get used to being in that environment. You have to talk about 140%, 280%. Okay, get used to that. I know you're used to 8, 9, and so forth. Okay, and this might be a little bit new, and that's fine. But you have to get used to that. Being in that environment. It's almost like being in that machine at the carnival with the money in it, right? You get in and it starts to blow around, and they tell you to grab as many of the dollars as you can. You can barely reach out and grab them. Maybe you get a couple, but because you're in the right environment, you look down, there's some sticking to you. Okay? It's just going to kind of happen that way. If you're in the right, if you're in the wrong environment, you're talking to broke people, all right? That's the conversation you'll be having. I don't want you to have that. Okay? Have these kinds of conversations. Come with us tomorrow morning. Have the conversation. Listen, if you are here today and you want to take a step forward in what you're doing, come hang out with us for a little bit. Okay? We'll get up tomorrow morning before the market opens. Those 2 stocks that I told you about. All right? Market's closed right now. Let's get you prepared in the morning. Let's do a couple of trades. All right? If you got an online brokerage account open already, even if it's a virtual account, get in there. Let's put a couple ideas to the test. If I'm always protecting your downside, I never have to be afraid to tell you something. Okay? I don't care how fanciful my idea sounds. If I got to stop on it, I got to stop on it. Which means that I'm never going to take risk with your money. Untoward risk. Okay, that'd be a waste of your time. Yay, we have opportunity. Great, everybody talks like that, all you seminar guys. Of course. But if I'm just throwing your money against the wall to see if it sticks, that's a waste of time. You should hang up now. But what I'm telling you is every time I trade, first thing I look for was not the profit target, it was the stop. Where is my stop? Where is my good entry? And it doesn't have to be super fancy, okay? People talk about pennies on the front end. Oh, I'd rather get in at 1708 rather than 1704, right? But you're not in the trade to make 4 cents, okay? You're looking for a good entry, not a perfect entry. And you're looking for a good exit, not a perfect exit. But you didn't get in the trade to make 4 cents. You probably got in it to make $4. So let's stop with the idea, please, that we have to parse things so dramatically, right, so that they're perfect. Write this down. They'll never be. And if you talk about perfection, it's boring. Don't. Let's just talk about ideas and action. Okay, I want you to be comfortable doing this. It's got to make sense. Normally, to come to a meeting like this, you got to go to one of the big shows to do it. Here, you don't have to do that. You just come and join the meeting. All right, and if that even interests you at all, okay, and if you got the time free tomorrow, we'll go 45 minutes in the morning. If that interests you at all, you want to find out just what you need to do to get in there, right? You get the web link, the username, the password, and join us. Okay. it little separate from this environment, come do that. That's Chris Irvin. That's Kevin Dixon. That's us. Okay? Get some assets and have a game plan. We'll put it together for you. That's kind of the fun part too. All right? You don't need any special tools to do this. Let us do some of the heavy lifting to get you out of the gate. We believe in results. I told you that at the beginning. If I can show you some right out of the gate, it's going to be great. Okay? So come on, join us with that. How do I do it? Easy. Okay? In the chat box, just give me a way to get in touch with you. All right? I'll have one of my team, one of my traders, one of my education specialists call you up after we break and just dot I's and cross T's with you. The meeting goes 45 minutes. You know what? You're going to know in 5 minutes if that is the team you were looking for. I always manage to find the right people, or they found me. That's been my experience. All right? When I was trading stocks at Broadway, it was John McClain, best trader there was. What do you say? Come on, let me show you how to make some money. Okay. All I had to do was show up, right? And Mike Ryan, Bank of Ireland, trading lumber. You know what he said to me the first day? I don't care what you know. He goes, I know a lot of smart guys that live with their parents, don't know how to make 10 cents. And when you're rich, guess what? People think you know something anyway, so you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I love it, right? And he's right. Come on to the meeting, okay? You don't have to come with anything but some enthusiasm. And we'll go ahead and see if we can put some of these assets together for you. Friday before Easter, how's that for good timing, right? Half a day besides. Good. You do that? Go ahead. Yeah, a couple of years. All right, I'll give you 30 seconds to do that. Put in your name and phone number, right, so that we can reach you after we're done. We'll just have that conversation, all right? And you'll see those 2 trades again. If you didn't already take a screenshot of them, all right, you get that in full analytics tomorrow. All right, go ahead and do that. Yeah, some of you are responding to that. I'll give you a second, and I will get a sip of water. All right, let's keep the ball rolling. Here we go, because not everybody reacted to that, and I know why, because you want to see something that's a little bit more concrete. Okay, Under Armour. Let me give you an example. Just another example of one of the team trades that we do. How do we find them? First things first, we use our scanning tool. Oh, there it is, red light, green light. Listen, it's not a fail-safe system. It's a time saver. Okay, I like my scanner because it reads my charts for me. Ultimate Market Scanner. Here it is, right up here. Right. In the most simple use, what does it do? Reads my charts for me. Tells me the sectors that are moving, and if I drill down just a little bit, you know what? It'll tell me the stocks that are moving. It'll even tell me where my entry points are, because I have it programmed to do that. All right, it does my Fibonacci analysis, does my support and resistance analysis, my stochastic analysis, all the stuff that I want to do myself but don't have time for. This reads the charts for me. Okay? Even tells me where I'm going to start taking money off the table. There's my 50% off the table number. There's my 75%. So all that good trading behavior, it's programmed in here. Okay? That's why I use this. Now, this is how I found Under Armour, right? Great opportunity. All the how do I want to say it, planets lined up, but it's a $60 stock. So instead of trading the stock, what I did was, hey, Chris, give me the right option. And that's where he came in, all right? Chris Irvin put this together. It's called the Depot method. Write that down, D-E-P-O-T. That's proprietary. And this is the checklist that every option has to meet before I do the trade. Okay, first and foremost, has to have the right delta. It's got to be sensitive. It's got to be correlated, all right? The higher, the better. But it has to have the right delta. And next, it has to have the right amount of time built in, all right, expiration, so that the opportunity has enough time to come to fruition. Nothing worse than having something expire and then the stock moves and you missed out. Okay, so we have to meet that expiration criteria. Then premium, we don't want to overpay. A lot of opportunities, especially with options come, people are blinded by the upside, but they forget that this is an expense. Okay, premium is an expense and you don't want to overpay ever. Write that down. You don't want to overpay for any option ever. Okay, you're a business person. That's an expense. Anytime money's coming out of your account, that's a time to pay real strict attention. Okay, we don't ever overpay for opportunity because there's always going to be another one. Right. So as much as I might like Amazon, if it's a little rich at that time of the day, I might not play it. Okay? It's got to meet the criteria. Same thing with liquidity. We got to be able to get in or out, protect our downside, protect our profit. Be able to do it in a couple of seconds. All right? Open interest is that measure. And the last thing is it's got to have some value to it. So Chris will tell me what the right option is to trade, and then he'll show me that it meets the risk and reward criteria. Just one more calculator. And in this case, it's kind of like my Bed Bath & Beyond trade. Right? What was that one? We were looking to risk just about 2 to make 8, right? Same thing here. Risking 200 to double our money, make 800. And you're going to see that a lot. You're going to see that those 2s and 8s quite a bit, because that's called 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Oh, Joe, you're throwing a lot of terms at me. Well, you've been at this all day. You've heard most of these before. Write that one down, 4-to-1 risk to reward. That'll take all the pressure off you. I'll show you why in a minute. Okay? Risking 200 to make 800. Mechanically, we met our checklist. Okay? Mechanically, it's easy to place the trade because now we found the right option. So we go to our options trading account. We go ahead and buy it. Right? There's the Under Armour 55 call at $7. Perfect. Okay? First thing we do, always set our stop, because below this is risk. All this. We don't ever want to risk everything. We set a $2 stop. You'll hear that a lot too from me. $2 stop. Because you're conditioned already to be able to absorb $2 in your mind. It will be easier for you to trade in a way you've already been subconsciously trained. How does he know that? Because he's been doing it a while. Okay? You got your stop set. You're going to risk 2, but you're looking to double your money. You set a target up there. Now the stop gets hit, you're out automatically, protects your downside. The limit gets hit, you're out automatically, protects your profit. What happened with this particular trade? It could have only done one of 2 things. After you enter it, it goes up or down. You see how easy this is? And I'm being a little bit facetious about it, because listen, simplicity is the name of the game. You ask any trader worth their salt, how'd you do today? They would say, not too bad, made a little. Almost all of them will give you the same answer. If you ask them what their secret is, they'd all say buy low, sell high, because that's where the rubber meets the road. You enter a trade, only one of 2 things are going to happen. You're going to protect your downside, you're going to protect the profit. When your profit gets hit, guess what? You get to put that in your account. This is what happened here just before earnings is when we placed this trade. Okay? Stock was trading at 60. You know what? We didn't buy the stock. We bought the option. Didn't get the best price on the board, but we got in the position. Okay, what happened? Boom. After the earnings, stock popped. Now we're in the profit zone. Did we sell right away? We could have, but we waited a little while, because now we're playing with the house's money. Okay, we waited a little while looking for that second leg up. That did not come. We didn't get that second push. We gave it a couple of days, but once we hit this target right here, this area, time to go. Okay, but we met our target, doubled our money, took us 19 days, 110%. Now, that's not all the money in the world. I know that. It's $800, okay? But if you can get to the point where you can do this, right? $800, you can make a little bit of money. At that point, you can make a lot of money, okay? You start, you dip your toe in the water. You do it small. You do it with 1 contract. That's fine, okay? And even if all you did was $800 a month, that's your car payment, okay? For doing what? This fun stuff. But if you're trading the way I'm showing you, the best part of this is you don't have to be right every time to still make money. Okay? Now I get to take the fear out of the equation. 4-to-1 risk to reward. You already wrote that down. This is going to take the pressure off of you, because this means you don't have to be right every time. Okay, you were right the first time. You made $800. That goes in your pocket. That feels pretty good. That goes in your account. You got a winner. Now on the next trade, listen, if you had the same analysis, okay, the scanner found the opportunity. Chris found you the option, all right? It met all the criteria. You're going to risk 200 to make 800, but it turned into a dud. Do those happen? Of course. And when it turns into a dud, it hits your stop and you're out. You got to book that one too. Okay? Let's say the next trade you do, it's the same thing. And the next one is also, you're thinking, wow, my batting average isn't so good. But add up the columns. You got 1 winner. Okay? That trade was offering 800 and you hit it. You got 3 duds. Okay, add them up. You're still net positive. You're right 1 time out of 4. Okay, 25, but you could be wrong again and still be break even. So if you can be new but be right 1 time out of 5, you're still breaking even on this. And I know a blind squirrel can find an acorn 1 time out of 5, so that means even if you're new, you can do this. At least on a break-even level, be right 1 time out of 5. Now let me get you right 2 times out of 5. Let me get you right half the time, you're killing it, all right? You're absolutely making serious money if you're getting it right half the time. And all these guys that say, oh, I've got an option strategy that's right 83% of the time. Number one, I think it's nonsense because I've seen it all. And number two, you got to kind of know what they're measuring, okay? The fact of the matter is, I get you right half the time, you're going to be killing it. And that's why I show you this. If you can capture this concept, you are going to trade better than 90% of the people on this planet, okay? If you can adopt 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio, you're going to trade better than 90% of the people on this planet. You will be the person that makes some money, and you're ready to do it because you have the terminology, okay? That's what you need to know. Is that everything there is to know? Of course not, okay? But where are you going to learn that? Well, you're going to learn that in a couple of days with us. I get an hour today with you, okay? But I'm going to need you to come sit in a class for a couple of days so I can teach this to you. Now, there's another way to learn it, and that is with my online university, which I can put on your desk today. And I can give you a username and a password for it, and you can start going through it. It's 16 modules where you're going to go through them, more than basic, of course. Okay? Spreads, straddles, those are in there. Little technical analysis, Fibonacci's, all that stuff that you want to review, that's in my online university. Okay? By the time you're done, you'll be speaking it the way we do. You'll be speaking our language. Okay? I taught you in an hour, you'll learn plenty through this. Now, some of you don't have the time for that. That's okay. One of our hallmarks is always doing stuff together and doing it live. So the fact of the matter is, I'll put you through 2 days with Chris so you can learn that. All right? Somebody said to me, hey, Joe, I need you want to be a trader? Yeah, come down to the exchange, right? Thursday, Friday, and we'll teach you how. Do you think I was going to get the first bus there? I was going to set my alarm clock? That's really what this invitation is, okay? The vets, the 15-year, the all-star, this group is saying, come down with us, learn to speak our language over 2 days on a Thursday and a Friday. You'll walk away with the online university also as kind of a, not just a refresher, but a reinforcer. That's a great tool. But that's how we put your education together, okay? 2 days with Chris. You can do it here. It's beautiful. You want to come play some golf, go to Disney, come do that at the same time, great. All right? There was a time we actually were flying people in here from scratch, traders like you. We'd fly them in here to do those 2 days. We'd take them to Disney. The only thing they had to promise us was after they learned how to do this, that we could use their likeness on our Facebook page, right? We could use their likeness on the boxes for our materials. That's what we used to do here, fly people in. That's how confident we were in being able to and being able to train even new people how to do this and do it real well, okay? And in the time that we're not always together, in the time, because I said at the beginning, this program is more designed for the person that's got time limitations. You got work commitments, church commitments, school, kids, what have you. How about having Chris and Kevin and the team kind of spying the market for you, letting you know when things are happening. All right? Would that be a help? If the heavy lifting could be done for you when you couldn't do it. Well, that's what we do here. It's called the Top Op email alert. Now write that down. It's kind of a fancy name. Top Op. What is that? Well, that's Chris doing the heavy lifting. That's Chris buzzing your iPhone. That's Chris sending you an email that says, hey, dated and timestamp right here. Let's have a look at LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn meets my criteria when I do my analytics, and you'll learn how to do all this if you don't know how to already. In fact, take a screenshot of that, because that is exactly what you need to know in order to properly place an option straddle. So go ahead and do that, okay? Take a screenshot. That's what you're going to eventually learn how to do, but you're going to learn it by doing, okay? The 2-day class that's live, we'll trade as we go, learn as we go. The online university, you'll learn it. This is the trader that you're going to become, is somebody that can do this kind of analytics, okay? Chris will do them for you here, send you out a note that says, hey, we got $193 stock here. Look, that's it at the bottom, right? But I've done the analytics. We're going to go ahead and trade it, and here's how you fill out your order ticket. So he makes sure to do the hard stuff and the easy stuff to make sure you got it right. So when your iPhone buzzes, you look at it and go, oh, look at that. Maybe I'll just pull the car over to the side of the road here, go to my online trading account and place this one. And that's what we did. That was on LinkedIn just before their earnings announcement. Now, we didn't know which way it was going to go, but Chris was confident that it was going to move, and move it did. In fact, we were positioned on either side of it, so that if it went up, we were going to make money. If it went down, we were going to make money. As it turned out, it went way down, right? Stock went from 193 down to 100. We cashed out of the position in one day. Okay, there's the position. In on the 4th, out on the 5th, $3,000, one contract. Okay? If you did 2, that was $6,000. If you did 5, right? What is that? Almost $20,000 in one day. Because Chris is very results oriented, right? I remember getting a note from him saying, hey, here's Apple. He did all the analytics. I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, okay, where's my order ticket? And at the bottom in big bold letters, it says, we're not doing this one. I'm like, what are you talking about? Apple's like a cash register for us. He said, not this time. He said, it might be a good trade, but might isn't good enough. I'm not here to impress you, Joe. I'm here to make you money. Okay? So that's the key. Top ops are going to come to you. And again, if you get one of these, 2 of these, that's going to be the springboard to the next level when it comes to your trading. I like getting a note on a Friday that says, hey, it's 10:30. We're done. Okay? We made our $4 grand for the day. Let's move on. Okay? Same thing here. Thanks, man. Made 79%. Did that straddle. There it is up there. 72%. Nice, safe trade. Straddle, what is it? The last thing I got to show you. I'm running out of time. Okay? But I'm going to show this to you so you understand exactly how it works, because this is our bread and butter. Right? This is Chris's bread and butter. This is how he got to be a Trade King All-Star. All right? It's about selectivity, and it's about doing things in a way that makes sense. Safe trade, looking for nice returns. Okay? It's what everybody wants. What's a straddle? When you place trades on either side of the market, and regardless of which way the market goes, you make money as long as it goes. Okay? Place trades on either side of the market. Best way for me to demo this is just show you another trade. We did this one on Tesla. October, what happened? Elon Musk got on the microphone, Twitter, and said, hey, in 2 days, I'm going to do some talking. I'm going to reveal new and exciting things about my company. Well, that was like our crystal ball, because Tesla is hyper sensitive, especially back in October. Okay? When Tesla rolls some things off the line, stock goes up. When there's one burning by the roadside, stock goes down. You've seen it. It moves around a lot. Well, when he said at 2 o'clock on Thursday, I'm going to be talking, we knew his stock was going to move. It was like he told us the day and the time. It was great. So we knew we had to be there. Now, did we know what he was going to say? No. Do you know if it was good news or bad news? No. If we thought it was good news, stock was going up, what would we do? We'd buy some calls. If we thought it was bad news, what would we do? Well, stock's going down, we'd buy some puts. But we really don't have as good a crystal ball as that, okay? Because we don't really have a clue which way it's going to go. So what do? Well, instead of buying a put or a call, we buy them both. And that's what we did. All right, we bought our call in case the stock went up, paid our premium for it, stock goes up, we make money on our call. Bought our put in case the stock goes down, paid our premium for that because, guess what, stock goes down, we make money on our put. Make money in either direction. Now, some of you, of course, are going to say, don't they kind of cancel each other out? But you have to understand how straddles work in order to get this right, okay? Let's talk about the stock going up. How high can it go from 260? It can go to 560, go to 860, go to the moon, okay? If it does, the call is going to go up there with it. We'll make money all the way to the moon on our call. Okay, it's unlimited. Now, of course, at the same time, our put is going to be losing money. When the stock goes up, our put's going to be losing money. Okay, but the most we can lose is what we paid for it. So our downside is limited. Upside's unlimited, downside limited. That's if Tesla goes up. What if it goes down? It's just the opposite. If it goes down, our put's going to go up in value. How low can it go? Well, it's at 260. Could it go to 160? Sure. How about 60? Yeah. How about 0? Well, maybe, right? The best part is we'll be making money all the way down on our put. The call, of course, will be losing money, but it's limited to what we paid for it. And that's how this works. So we position ourselves before the stock moved. We knew the day, we knew the time, there we were. Boom. Either side of the trade before it moved. That's why earnings straddles work. That's why this straddle worked. And yes, Elon Musk got on the microphone and he started talking about new and exciting things. And the more he talked, the more the stock tumbled. All right. While he was talking, it went from 260 to 252. right? Then to 248. He had investors there, right? They had their little quotrons on their phone. They're trying to get him off the stage. Dude, stop talking. We're getting killed, right? We didn't care. We had a strategy, okay? And Tesla went down. What happened? We made money on our put first, okay? The put went from 7 and change up to 21 and change. Now, of course, we lost money on our call, okay? In fact, we lost almost all of it. It was limited to what we paid. We lost almost all of it, all right? But when you added it up, right, on that move in Tesla, how much did we make? $6,200. Took us 6 days to do it. Not too bad, okay? These work. Netflix, one contract just before earnings, right? Didn't matter which way it went. News is good, great, stock goes up. News is bad, great, stock goes down. Long as it goes. How we do on that one? One contract, $24.50. All right, Weight Watchers, write this one down. Another one of those top ops, okay? Happening now. This is one that you can do now, okay? It's a mover. What happened? Chris did the analysis. Take a screenshot of that, please. This is a current asset. What I'm saying is, show me the analysis. There it is, okay? Entry, exit, the whole bit. What was it trading at? 15 before earnings. Where the analysts think it was going? 35. And you have Oprah Winfrey with a 10% stake and a whole lot of hype. Chris wasn't so sure. We weren't going to just buy calls on this one. Chris said, let me straddle it. There's enough volatility here for that to be an awesome opportunity. Either way, we'll play it safe. What happened? Earnings came out. Stock got plowed. It's 27% in a day, okay, down to 11 bucks. All right? That's the first leg of profit on our straddle. Now, what I need you to understand is this one is still an active trade, and it's one that you can enter. WTW. Okay? Told you I'd give you a couple of trades today. Here they are. 1316. All right, you see that? That is from this downward slope. Wow. Engulfing candle and a fade. This thing is headed this way. A, B, hold on. A, B, C, D. You're looking at $6.50 on a stock that's trading at 13 and change right now. So if you're looking to make a decent buck on Weight Watchers, and you still want to play it safe, you can still straddle this. Instead of just buying puts for this to go down, you can certainly straddle this position right from here. All right? That'll make it a safer trade. You might have a little bit less of an upside profit target, but that one might make more sense to you. And the fact is, Chris called that downward extension right here before the move. So he's looking for that price as well. Great asset. How do I find out more about that? Come hang with us. Another opportunity. Now you have to at some point make a decision, okay? Because you definitely are walking away with certain assets from here today. There's no doubt about it, okay? But now it's time to kind of take that to the next level. And if you got to learn how to structure some straddles, come to the meeting. If you want that, the Weight Watchers straddle in specific based on that day's pricing, come to the meeting. All right? Come meet the guy that you're going to be working with. At some point, you have to find the right people. I said it too. Who is going to show me how to do this? Because everybody walks in with the same idea. They all walk in with their rugged individualism. Look, it wasn't just me doing it when I did. Guys come to my desk all the time, and I tell them, you don't know anything. Let me show you how to do this. And that's the name of the game. And it's a lot of fun. Okay? Results rule. You'll have enough juice that you can brag about. You'll have enough things that you can take ownership of, all right, once you've been on the team a while. But you got to meet the right people, all right, and take that step forward with them. You found that. And you get to go ahead and give it a shot here, kind of test drive it a little bit before you have to make any kind of final decision when it comes to it. All right? And I know you're nervous about earning straddles. Right? Sometimes they're a little pricey. Sometimes you've never done them before. Alvina never did them before, and she says it here. I was a little nervous. That's natural. Okay? But what did she do? She put on the trade, right? Hang on a second. There it is. She closed it a day later. right? $3,500. I'd never done this before, made $3,500. Okay? That's exciting. That's exciting for a person that says, okay, what I'm doing to now hasn't netted me those results. But I just did this once and I nailed it. Okay? That's not luck. That's somebody doing something that made sense. Okay? Earning straddle. There it is. And what happens? Well, you do a couple of those, right? You get a couple of them under your belt, you're loving it. Amazon, earning straddle, right off of earnings. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4 times a year. $500 in 3 days. Not all the money in the world. Car payment. Okay? Netflix. Same thing. 1 contract, 2 contracts, $620, 3 days. Not all the money in the world. Electric bill. Okay? I know what you're trying to accomplish. All right? And when you start to lever this a little bit, this is still a 1 contract trade, but it's still $1,800. Took us 2 weeks on that one. Those work. Okay? You want to get started doing this with us. All right? This is where you have to make a decision. Am I going to make that commitment, decide that this is a team I want to work with? Okay? Well, if you have any interest in that at all, right, you got a couple of questions, that's fine. But how about we go ahead and start the conversation today? Put your phone number in the box. And let's get a couple questions answered, whatever they are, right? Let's do that a little bit more personally. It says here, personalized orientation. How about we meet just for a little bit? All right, we can do that. Then let's get you into the training class. 2 days later, you'll be speaking our language. Then we get to do the fun part. Okay? Let's go apply our training. It's all about ideas, and it's all about action. To take action here, it's kind of a micro commitment. You put your phone number in the chat box, and you have a conversation. Okay? That's not a heavy one, but it's one that I'd like you to take because you put in this much time. You put in this much effort. You've come this far in your endeavor, and you didn't come this far to only come this far. And I want you to take a step forward. I'm trying to give you some good assets that you can make some money with, but that's not the first time you've seen that. Okay? If you turned on CNBC yesterday, right, it starts with your first 2 trades of the day. And you got Johnny Nigerian talking to you. You got Jimmy Cramer talking to you, right? You didn't do those. So at some point, we got to find that ingredient that gets you doing those, get you that sense of confidence, get you that sense of ability. Now, what's it going to come from? Some of it's going to come from you absorbing, right? A little bit of knowledge. That lends itself to confidence. Some of it's going to come from watching results happen around you. There was nothing like it. I thought to myself, if this guy can do it, I can sure do it. Okay? That was a big help for me. Just getting that right mindset. And then when you make your coffee in the morning, you turn on your computer, you come and kind of join the team. Man, that's a good time. That's fun. You start to think that there's a different way that you can make money other than maybe the way you've been doing it before, or not struggle other than the way you've been doing it before. That's all. Okay? I want you to be that guy on the mountain, and that means let's put some resources on your desk. Okay? The education, the tools, and the training, right? And the team, phenomenal, world class, right? That's why we're the host of the event. Oh, hang on a second. Looks like my screen bagged on me. So let me see if I can bring that back up again. How strange. And we're not going to let technology get in the way of our success. We're going to use it to our advantage. That's me vamping. Hope you don't mind. Because I'm going to get that technology on your desk today. All right? I'll get that online university on your desk, get you a username and a password. You can go through these modules. They're interactive. They're fun. You'll learn something with them, little tests at the end, but all of it's designed to reinforce and get repetition, all right, on what you'll learn in the live class. But you'll get that, right? What else are you going to get? I'll give you the scanner, right? The scanner is going to be not just the time saver, but that's a fun one. Yes, the first couple of trades are going to be the heavy lifting that we're going to do for you, and that's okay, right? Somebody's offering you that help, you take it. But after a while, you're going to own it. You're going to learn what you need to do using the tools that are in front of you. And I'll give you the scanner to use for a couple of months. You compare it to whatever you got, all right, TradeStation or Fidelity's tools or whatever, all right? And you tell me after that time if that's something you want to keep because it's better. I'm here to tell you that it is, right? Chris will show you how to use it. Kevin, same thing, because that's what we use. But the fact of the matter is you're going to make that decision. If you want to keep using it after that, I think it's $199 a month. Okay, but 3 months, you get to try it out. It's like getting keys to a Ferrari, right, for 3 months on the house. And I'll give you the charting program too, mainly because it's the screen that we all use. Whenever you come to our meeting, you'll see us talking the way that I did today, showing you, oh, wow, another breakdown. It's so crazy the way that I showed you, all right, on my charting program. Give me a second, because if this breaks down again, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give this one more run. Yeah, that's not good. But I am going to tell you how to join. Yeah, 3 of you have already asked, how do I get on the team? Give me just 1 second, I'll show it to you. And I better do it quick. I must be running out of time. There it is, 3 months free, plus you get time with us every day, 9 in the morning before the market opens, plus the evening session, right, where we dot our I's and cross our T's for the day, close any positions that are ready to be closed, etc. It's just like going to work, all right? But it's limited to whenever you want to do it, right? Because the best part of this is you decide if you want to be there for the morning or afternoon session, knowing that Chris will be there whether you're there or not. And we find something, we'll send it to you. All right, top ops, how often do they come? Sometimes they come a little more often than others. You might get 2 in a week. Sometimes you won't get 1 for a week. But the fact is, when they come and they look like LinkedIn, where you make yourself $4,000, or they look like Amazon, right, when you make yourself $1,800, those are the kinds of opportunities you want. All right? World-class education, tools, training, and support. And for those of you that are looking for a guarantee, I'll give you that too. All right, you want to make a commitment to this, make a commitment to it for 60 days, and you can use every single resource we have at Market Traders Institute. All right, you'll get the tools, you'll get the training, you'll get the support on your desk. You'll get the top ops as well. In fact, that analyst on demand is there for you every day. Use it not for 10 or 15 or 30 days. How about using it for 60? All right, use it for 60 days. And at the end of that time, you're going to judge this tree by the fruit that it bears. You're going to look at your results. If you got them, you're going to keep it. If not, you're going to give it back. All right? If you decide at the end that it's not for you, that's it. We'll refund any penny that you paid for it just for giving it a try. All right? Zero risk in this equation. Now, if you went to my website, you'd see that the investment for it, right, could be valued at $12,000 because we have all those items that I spoke about listed individually on our website. Right? They're listed individually. Next to them, there's a market value. If you add them up individually, you'll see that it comes out to about a $12,000 package. Okay, that is what it is. Right? Some of you have already looked at that and said, yeah, that looks like about 2 trades. Where do I start? Good for you if you're thinking that way, but hang on for a minute, all right? Because I know I'm going to be able to save you some money right now. Here's how it normally works, okay? Normally you can go to my website, see things priced out individually, but if you go to markettraders.com, you'll see that we've bundled everything in what we call the Ultimate Stock and Options Package, okay? Whenever you bundle something, you get economy of scale, just makes things simpler, means you can charge a little less for it. And if you go to my website 7 days a week, MasterCard, Visa, American Express, or Discover, you can get this program for $7,995, and that's fine, all right? That's if you go to the website. At my webinars, okay, because you've spent this time with me and I've been able to give you the foundation of speaking our language that's going to allow you to hit any of our sessions running, right? You'll be able to hit the ground running with Chris or Kevin, for example. Because of that, because you spent the time, you get value for your time. You're ready now. And what we say is, okay, because they spent the time, we got to give them value for it. And we take $2,000 off the website price of the program, meaning, right, you'll get every one of these tools, every one of the pieces of education and support for a one-time investment of $5,995. Okay, the 60-day warranty applies. You use it for 60 days. At the end of that time, if you just say to yourself, this isn't for you, right? You didn't get the results you anticipated, what have you. You will have gone through all of the training. So actually, you'll be an options trader by that point, okay? But if the results weren't just what you hoped for, what we say at the end is just give us back the stuff, and we'll refund every penny that you paid just for trying it out, all right? A one-time investment of $59.95. Now, why is there a red line through that? Because here at Investor Inspiration, okay, because you have been such a large audience and a attentive and fantastically enthusiastic audience, what we're doing here is we're offering a flash sale for the next hour where we're going to save you not just $2,000 off the website price, we're going to go ahead and save you 50% off the website price. Here at the workshop, all right, for the next 2 hours, let's make it that, the next 2 hours only, okay, you can get involved on the Ultimate Stock and Options team here with a 60-day guarantee for $3,995. All right, risk-free to you, and you have my permission right now. If you're ready to get started, you just type your name and phone number in the box and say, okay, I'm ready to do that. What'll happen is one of my education specialists will call you, dot I's, cross T's with you, get you in through the enrollment. Takes about 5 or 10 minutes. Now, if you're saying to yourself, well, I don't know if I got $39.95 worth of room on my Visa card, but I'm sure interested in starting. If that's you, that's fine. All right, what we offer is also very flexible payment plans, zero interest kind of situation, give everybody the opportunity to get involved. Okay, if the payments weren't agreeable, and what do I mean? Well, you're going to customize a payment program. You'll put a little something down, and that's fine. That gets your foot in the door. Okay, but you'll customize a payment plan, and it'll be something that you absolutely can handle. All right, because if it wasn't agreeable, we wouldn't expect you to get involved at all. Okay, but I'm confident that your account rep can provide you with a couple of alternatives, all right, via our Easy Pay program that'll make your investment in this absolutely affordable, and it'll fit into your budget. All right, so your choice is take advantage of that flash sale right now. It ends after 2 hours, okay? After 2 hours, price goes up to $59.95, which is still a fantastic value, okay? $79.95 on the website. $59.95 because you were here, but that flash sale, you might as well take advantage of that. It's an extra $2,000 off, okay? Plus, I'll get you your charting package and your scanner, okay? Other than that, option B, you want to do some financing, that's fine. You just have to make a decision if you are worth the investment. Okay, I know that you are, but you need to know that you are. Hands down, 100%, no questions asked. We believe this education is for you. The bigger question is you got to believe that it is. If it does half of what I showed you, if we can, just through those top ops, find you those 2 trades, because that's how close you are to being successful at this, okay? And if those are 2 elusive trades, you know what it is? It's your ability to stay in it. Who's going to help you do that? The book hasn't helped you so far. Okay, the tapes, CNBC, Susie Orman hasn't helped you stay in that trade that's going to leapfrog you to the next level. All right, how are you going to be able to do that and do it effectively? You do that once, twice. The first trade might pay for the education. The second one's going to be yours. If you accomplish that in the first 60 days, right, you're still on the clock. You're still drawing benefit. And you know who's on the clock really at that time? We are, because we have to continue to deliver, or else what's going to happen? We already know, okay? At the end of 60 days, you hold the cards. You either say, yep, this is for me. This is what I've been looking for. These guys are the team that I was looking to join. And by that time, 60 days, you're there. You're talking like a trader. You're acting like a trader, okay? Fact of the matter is you're hanging out with us. It's great. Or after 60 days, you know what? It might not be for you. Trading's not for everybody, okay? And if that's the case, we'll just give you a refund. That's all. We work with the willing. All right, and you know, there's certain people that are looking at this saying, well, I know I'm worth the investment because I know that if I'm in the markets, all right, that can pay me 10 times what I'm making right now. That's a fact, okay? No matter what you're making. All right, if you're making $400,000, can the market make you $4 million? You already know that it can, all right? If you're making $40,000, is there $400,000 out here? Well, I got to get you to believe that there is, okay? Best way to do it is show you some results. Because the fact of the matter is, I don't want you to do this if all you're thinking about is just paying for your education. I got to make 4,000. No, no, no. I want you to think about 40 and 400 because that's what's here. All right? I mean, I can show you ideas and assets all day, but I got to get you in there to trade them. I got to get you to trade them with the stop. I got to get you to honor that. I got to get you to have confidence if you get bit once or twice on those little minis, right, in your 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio. I got to get you the 4. Okay? And I got to get you to not quit. Got to get you to keep showing up. You make a commitment like this, you'll show up. You'll give me a chance to do it. If you show up, you give me a chance to do it. I'll show up, I'll be anywhere. We already know what works. We've been doing this 21 years. We got 30,000 students, all right? We know what works, and we'll back you up, all right? There's a safety net. That's why I don't feel bad about asking, okay? 60 days, plus you get to go through all the coursework, and you get the tools. It's a pretty good deal, right? That's better than pretty good. That's darn good, okay? And I know you can do this. In fact, I'll plan for your success. How about this? Instead of giving you 3 months of the charts, I'll plan for your success. Because normally that's $199 a month, right? How about this? You get started today. Instead of giving you 3 months of the charts, I'll pay for them out to September. Because I'm planning for your success. I'm planning for you to be using this, okay, out to September, which means you're going to leapfrog over that 2-month window, right? And you're going to be ready to put the pedal down during the summer. Earnings season's coming up. You're right there, okay? April is earnings season. That's the best time to trade. This is Christmas. Comes 4 times a year for traders. January, April, July, and October. I can say it chapter and verse because I know it. You can do this. You just have to believe that you can. I'll give you that scanner, give you that for 3 months, and I want you to just start small. Start with 1 contract of Twitter. Because if you can turn out $550, you're going to start thinking differently about yourself. Okay? Bob. Right, he thinks a little differently. He gets so smug about it now. Yeah, I did 3 contracts of Apple, made $7,500. Not bad, he says, for an overnight play. Thanks for the thought. That's funny, all right? Because I remember him when he was dying for an opportunity, and he said, I think I can do this. All right, and just like anybody else that's ever started with our program, they started by typing in their phone number, okay, and putting the letter A, right, or the letter B next to it. Okay, they started with that. They knew they had to learn something. They had to find the right team. Been doing this a long time, gang. All right. People used to come to my trading desk and they'd be like, Joe, just take me there. And is there a cost? Is there some resources? Is there some time to invest in it to do it right? We all had that. Okay. But here, you don't have to do like I did. When I went to the Amex, I rented an apartment with 5 of my buddies in the city. Okay. We were broke, but we knew that we had to do that. Okay. We clerked. We punched tickets. Right? Because we had to be in it, around it. You don't have to rent an apartment anywhere, okay? You don't have to take that kind of a leap. You get to go to your kitchen table to do this. What you have to do is take a half a step forward and say, okay, I'll give that a shot. Give yourself a shot. Give us a shot, okay? We'll back it up. We'll give you 60 days. And in that time, look at it. You get to learn all of it. We'll give you every resource, okay? Because we know it works. We're that confident with it. This guy made 83% of his stuff back in 2 trades. Okay, this is what I want your P&L to look like. All right, everybody wants their P&L to look like this. This is what it is. He's trading the stuff you want to trade, but look at what he says. All right, this is the best part. In the past, before being here, I was struggling. Okay, had to change a few habits. Now he's pretty thankful because he's got that leadership. He uses the tools I've been showing you. He's got a safe methodology, and this is what it is. It's 87 grand so far this year. I'll call him again later. James will call him, find out how he's doing. We check in with him because, you know, this is what it is. Okay? That's a life changer. That's a game changer for him. That's why he's so excited. Okay? And that's this year. That's what he's doing now. He's got a couple open positions. He's got a Weight Watchers open position. All right? I've already shown you that. Okay? Couple of things happening. You can do this. I know you can. Okay? So what do? You go ahead and you type in a phone number. You put in option A or option B. Okay? And you say to yourself, yeah, that's something I'll do. All right? I'll do it with the warranty. You guys are going to back me up. That's how we do it. All right? Option A, 50% off. Option B, you're going to go ahead and you're going to finance a little bit of flexible payment, whatever you need. All right? Something that makes sense to you. but we'll get your foot in the door. And for the rest of you, all right, it's been a long and awesome day and investor inspiration. And there's one thing, because I know you've heard 6 or 7 presentations, you listened to mine, and I know you took something away from it, all right? And I talk fast because I like to put a lot into, right, the time that you're spending. Nobody wants to waste their time, okay? But when you get to the end of one of these, you either have a ton of enthusiasm, or you're just shaking your fist going, how do I get into this? Because maybe you can't fit $39.95 on your MasterCard. Well, how about this? For the next 30 seconds, for those of you who are saying, this makes sense, I can do this. I need to do one option trade. I risk half the money. I make 15 times what I do on a stock trade. Joe said I could start with 1,000 capital, so forth, okay? If you're saying this makes sense to you and you have to get involved, then I'll take the money off the table so there's no excuses left. What do I mean? All right, A, $39.95. B, you finance. How about C? If you want it for free, okay, you got to let me know. Yes, and I'm getting pushed out of the room, so this is legitimately 60 seconds. If you want to get started and you want to find out how to do it for free, you got to put your name and phone number in the box and put the word free next to it. What are you kidding? A minute ago it was $4,000. Now it's free? Listen, there's a way to do something. You want to do it bad enough, okay? You just got to find out how. All right, there's a way to do something. Is there a way to get this free? Yes. Fact of the matter is, everybody that's ever started with us has started out putting their phone number in, putting A, B, or free. Some of the best people put free. It's fine. But do that. Have the conversation. Start by doing it. All right? Take away those assets I gave you tonight. Gave you a couple of good trades, 2, 3 of them. Some of you are coming to my meeting tomorrow with Kevin. Awesome. Some of you are going to come to my meeting on Sunday with Chris. Awesome. Some of you are getting started, and that's even better. Let me just go ahead and go through that real quick, just to let you know that I've got your information. All right? Kumar, I've got yours. All right? Nathan, if that's okay. That's all right. If you have a couple of questions that you need answered, you go ahead and get them answered. That's fine with me. DJ, you said free. Perfect. Let's see. All right, done? Got it? All right, Christian's already been in touch with the rest of you. Perfect. Before you log out, I want to say how much I appreciate you taking the time to be here for my presentation, and I know that some of you have been here all day. Respect. Okay, you're gathering information, you're gathering assets, you're looking for different opportunities. All right, when I show you Bed Bath & Beyond and you see a $1 risk and an $8 reward, that's an opportunity. All right, different software packages, so forth. I appreciate you listening to me as well as spending the time here, and best of luck to all of you. All right, take care, all of you. Wish you absolutely the best in your trading. Go find those 2 trades. All right, talk to you soon.